Shabbat Shalom. Call Halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Ba'ashim Nakal Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us His truth. Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all the Akwath, listening and learning, being a pillar of rest. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily update. Shabbat Shalom and salutations to you as well. Today is the memorial blowing of trumpets. So, yeah, we're going to keep this short, this little World War III daily update. We're going to start right here. 2nd Ezra 16 and 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. What comes along when you go to war? There's great death. The beginning of wars. Okay? And the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? What wars? The beginning of what world? What wars? Salaki, what wars? Here's one. Revelation 11 and 14. What we usually close with. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. This is code for World War. World War II is over, and here comes World War III. It doesn't say war. Well, this does. Revelation 12 and 7. The what? The woe in heaven. And there was war in heaven. This is another war. Okay, you see the wars, the beginning of wars, World War III, and the war in heaven, with Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fighting back. We already know the outcome, but the point is war. All right, so let's watch little Nate. Nuclear what? War. What war? Nuclear war is imminent. Kim. All right. What in the actual F? Breaking news. Nuclear war is imminent. What in the actual F? Canadian Press. 15 hours ago. Okay. Now, I'm not the one saying it. Everybody's saying it. They know what
All right. Well, get the guns, get the supplies, get the kids, throw them in the car, head off into the hills because nuclear war is imminent. North Korea. How is that for a histrionic headline? Nuclear war is imminent. Could you imagine a headline like that even 5 years ago? People would be rioting in the streets if that was a headline put out by NBC or CNN. Now, this was put out by a rather prominent media agency, a second-tier agency, if you will, one that we probably would refer to as propagandistic here in the West. But make no mistake, there is some substance to these claims. This is not run-of-the-mill North Korean rhetoric. There is something else here going on. And I want you guys to know that if this is the end of days, that it's been a slice. It's been great knowing you, well, in this parasocial sort of way, knowing you. And I just hope that you've really taken this preparedness thing seriously. Because I can assure you that anybody in a prominent position within society, anybody with half a functioning brain cell and a little disposable income in the bank has a plan. They might not tell you they have a plan, but boy, do they have a plan. There's one thing that I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt, that any intelligent person with money in the bank is prepping. So why then the stigma against preparedness? Well, and if you're wondering what's going on in the world, we're going to talk about the headlines, but I got to say this because it's very important that people realize this. Every influential person that I've met and networked with through this channel who I would consider above average intelligence and a person maybe of modest means and above who has some disposable income, they all have a plan. That doesn't mean that preparedness is the focal point of their existence, but they have a plan. Case in point, Kim Kardashian, she has a plan. She's got a bug out location, she's got bunker, she's got security, she's got a plan. And I know a lot of people would relegate her to not being somebody of above average intelligence, but there are rumors that she's actually more intelligent than you think. Anyways, something to consider is that while the media is saying that preparedness is for Looney Tunes, understand and don't be beguiled by this mockery of preparedness, because I'm starting to think that the reason why they do that is the same reason why they mock people who buy gold. And it's the same people why they ridicule, the gold bugs, like the Peter Schiffs, because they want to hoard all the gold for themselves at the lowest possible prices. And if everybody is reaching out to Ron at Atlas Survival Shelters saying, hey, build me a bunker, if all the common men are saying, build us bunkers, then Ron can't build the bunkers for the elite people, right? The people in positions of power. So a lot of the stigma, it's not real, because anybody in a position of power and influence has a bug out plan. They're preparing for this. Again, it's not the focal point of their existence. It's not like me day in and day out talking about prepping. No. They get their plan, they paper the problem over in whatever way they have to, and then they go about their life. But they do have a plan. So the idea that this is fantasy land, this is beyond the realm of possibility, is just asinine. It absolutely, and if you haven't had enough confirmation yet in the last 5 years, crises after crises, black swan after black swan. I walked out of the house this morning, and I would
call your cable company and cancel your subscription. This new groundbreaking discovery gives you access to your favorite channels and movies for free. And greedy cable companies are trying their hardest to make it illegal in the USA.
It's a lot. Come on, Nate.
With a wave, like a wall of smoke, okay, forest fire smoke. Any other day probably would have been national news. Major Canadian city inundated with forest fire smoke, air quality index at very low levels. Any other day would have been record news, not in 2023. Not in a year where we've seen more area burned in terms of forest fires than the entire size of the country of England already in the year, and the fire season's only about 65% finished. So day after day, we're seeing these unprecedented events. The term unprecedented doesn't even do it justice anymore, because everything is unprecedented nowadays.
Biblical.
And we're in the age of consequences. So you gotta have a plan. You gotta take this stuff seriously. You don't need any more confirmation. If you've watched this channel for more than a week, I've given you 101 reasons why you should prep. And part of the reason why we're doing this new celebrity short series where we rank people on their apocalypse survivability, notable figures, we've rated people like Joe Rogan, Bill Gates.
Can we talk about war
Barbie chick, what's her name? Margot Robbie. People like that. The reason why we're doing that,
Slovakia.
emergency message on their phone, that's their cue to get into the bunkers. Now, a lot can go wrong here. It shouldn't take a stretch of the imagination to understand that North Korea could misinterpret this, in fact, as being an invasion plan. Think about it. You're going to meet with Joe Biden at Camp David, I presume that's a military base, just a week before this massive exercise is about to start. They have nuclear weapons parked right outside the Korean, like right off the Korean peninsula. They're going to be doing this massive military drill. They're going to be doing this civil defense drill all at the same time. It starts to look like an invasion. And if you are as paranoid as Kim Jong-un is right now, and you're sitting on more nuclear weapon technology than you ever have before, take a look at what the North Koreans, where are they getting this stuff? You know where they're getting it. They're getting it from China and the Russians. They do not have the infrastructure to build things like this in the most heavily sanctioned country on earth. Where are you going to build a vehicle like that, a launch vehicle like that? The North Koreans are saying that they're going to be getting hundreds of nukes. Now, if North Korea can amass hundreds of nukes,
then so can Iran if they're getting them from Russia.
do you really buy this story from the Chinese that it's going to take them until the year 2035 to amass a nuclear arsenal that's on par with the United States and the Russians? Come on. The Chinese are under no obligation to disclose the amount of nuclear weapons that they have. They're in no treaties. Here's Kim right here and all his yes men. And, the North Koreans are building nukes at breakneck speeds. Why is the Americans in there with a nuclear submarine? Do they actually, is there going to be some false flag? I mean, anything goes right now. Anything is possible.
We'll end it right there. If you want to watch this whole thing, Canadian Prepper today or yesterday, 15 hours ago. More of the same. He gets into some different theaters. And he breaks it down as best he could. So let's back out how. Okay, let's get out here. Here's the nukes. Revelation 11 and 13. The same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. So this great earthquake is what happens after all those missiles hit at the same time. The 10th part of the city is referring to Babylon the Great, which is also known as America. All 10 FEMA zones, FEMA regions, all 10 zip codes. Okay? This is a way of saying all of it. And the 10th part of the city fell, meaning all of America. And then it uses the same style when it says this. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. That means all of them. 7 means completion. Okay? And what this is saying is, in the earthquake, if you didn't ascend up to heaven in a cloud, you were dead. All of them. Right? Now, there are going to be some in underground bunkers, but that's a different story. Okay? But everybody topside, you're not going to be able to survive that fire, that heat. Okay? The heat of nuclear fire. Here's how it describes it. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite, means kill all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. This is going to describe the fire that's going to be all engulfing America. All right? The 50 states. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Okay, talking about those nukes. What's the subject here? Nuclear war. Okay. So just a quick update. Hey, what's the update? Nuclear war is imminent. Coming from North Korea. That's the update. All right, so with that, we hope that the elect edified you brothers and few sisters. With that, we can say Shabbat Shalom.